This is part 3 of the NBA mock draft. We're at pick 20, and let's get into it. So the Heat. This team, it's pretty much set. Any team could use a superstar. But this team is pretty much set. I would say that they're gonna need to draft a point guard here, just because Goran Dragic is getting up there in age, and Kendrick Nunn's pretty good, but if you're confident enough to have him as your starting point guard in the future, 2 or 3 years from now, that'd be a little bit
far-fetched. Not saying it couldn't happen, but I think he's best suited as a player who comes off the bench. So, with that in mind, I'm going to have them taking Kira Lewis Jr. out of Alabama. Now, in every almost every mock draft I've read, they've had Kira Lewis Jr. going to the Heat. And I agree with that. Some of his strengths, he's able to create for himself very well. His defense is pretty good. I'd say, yeah, it's pretty good NBA level defense. My main concern is his ability to create for others, and that's his main weakness, and that's something he's got to work on in his career.
Let's have the next pick, and
We need one thing: shooters. This team needs to space the floor. That will come with trading Al Horford, which Al Horford again is not a bad player. Just doesn't fit with this team. And again, that can't really be helped with this draft pick, but they're in desperate need of shooters, and that can be addressed with this draft pick. Because of that, and the fact that he's still on the board at this point, I'm going to have the Sixers take Tyrese Maxey.
into what I think Maxey can do for the Sixers. I'm going to explain why he slid. I guess most mock drafts have him around top 15 to was top 20 or the 21th pick in my mock draft. Now the reason I have him slide down to this position is I am not that confident in his ability to be a point guard who can pass the ball. I think primarily he's a 2 guard, and I would have had him gone to Portland over Cole Anthony if he was able to pass the ball better, which doesn't mean he can improve that skill, but right now as it stands, he isn't that good as a passer. And I would have had him gone to the Mavericks, but I did like how RJ Hampton was able to do at least 2 things in like a B, I would say like a B- range, in terms of ability. Where in Tyrese Maxey's case, I would say his passing ability is more of a C+. But as a 2 guard, I really do think this is a steal. And now let's get into what I think he could do for the Sixers team. Now, he's going to be able to score for this team in bunches. And this is going to be especially important if he does this off the bench, which he most likely will. And that's, I think, is going to be his number 1 contribution for the Sixers this year. Secondary, I think his 3-point shot is underrated. Now, I did shoot 292% from 3 in college, but according to Tankathon.com advanced stats, he is a projected 35% 3-point shooter, which is you do have to guard, and that helps with spacing. And this Sixers team needs spacing, so he won't help, he won't extremely help with their spacing issues. But in a semi way, I do think he helps with their spacing issues. And finally, the reason the Sixers are taking taking Tyrese Maxey with this pick is because the talent that he has for the spot 21 is just too good to pass up. So they take Tyrann Matthew here. Now on to
So
the
as I
Denver
said, the Nuggets have the next pick, and they need a stretch four. More of a stretch four, a long-term solution for stretch four. I mean, Jameer Grant, it's unknown if he's going to be able to resign there. He's probably going to decline his player option and go into free agency. Paul Millsap, I think they're likely to resign him, but he is 35. And Mason Plumlee, I mean, he's more of a 5, plays backup 5. But, I mean, maybe with Jokic, he's able to space the floor, so you're able to, I mean, put Plumlee at the 4 maybe. But you need a long-term solution at the 4 position. And that's why I'm going to have them select Alexis Polzavsky out of Serbia. And he's played in the EuroLeague, and he plays for Olympiacos BC. And let's get into what I think about this prospect. So, a general overview of Polzavsky is that he's a high-risk, high-reward prospect. And this Nuggets front office, they're not afraid to take high risks to get high rewards. Remember, 2 years ago, they took Michael Porter when there were issues about his back. And 2 picks before, the Clippers had the 2 picks before them, and they did not take him. Where theoretically you could, take one guy, and then you could have Porter at another slot, and you'd have a first round pick to show next year. But that's how much of a concern there was of Porter coming into the draft about his health, and the Nuggets still did it anyways. And it shows that this Nuggets team is not afraid to take risks, or this Nuggets front office is not afraid to take risks when drafting. So what makes him high reward, as I awkwardly transition there, is his offensive game. I mean, his shooting potential, it's pretty amazing. His projected NBA 3-point percentage, according to Tankathon, is 370% from 3, which is really good. I mean, the rest of his offensive skills look really promising. There is something I will get into about his offense, but I'll get into his defense too. I'll go through this point now. He is only 201 pounds. For a 7-foot tall basketball player, that is not gonna cut it. He definitely needs to work out more. That sounds like sometimes insulting. I don't want to sound that, but he's got it. The frame he has, I don't think that's gonna work in the NBA. And he's definitely gonna have to have a better frame. I don't know if that's the right way to phrase it. But I mean, his defense is pretty good, but again, it has to do with the frame. It's a huge concern, and you don't really know how he's gonna build into that. And if he is, I think he could be a really good player in the NBA. One other thing that makes him high risk is his on-ball defense. He's got to improve that. And his off-ball defense is actually pretty good. Scouts have said it's, pretty one of his strengths. But he's definitely got to improve his on-ball defense. But yeah, this is a high risk, high reward prospect. And it seems right up the Nuggets alley. Alright, so although this video is actually kind of short right now, it's only 9 minutes. As we get to the last couple picks of the first round, I kind of want to do smaller videos of it, which will mean these videos will come out sooner. Yeah, they're probably going to be 3 picks, or 3 or 4 picks. The reason I want to do that is that I think once you get to the last couple picks of the first round, the fan interest, it dips a little bit, and I think that also comes with mock drafts. So I kind of want to do this so if you're a fan of the Utah Jazz, or not the Jazz are a bad example. If you're a fan of the Knicks and you want to see what I think they're going to take with the 27th pick, you don't have to watch a 30-minute video to find out, or I guess like 18 minutes of a 30-minute video to find out who I think the Knicks are going to pick. So I'm going to do a little bit of these videos are going to be a little shorter. So I guess it means more parts, but look, it's probably going to come out. All these videos are probably going to be done by late Sunday night. But yeah, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe.